So there's going to be massive spoilers in this video for the One Punch Man webcomic. If you don't want to know what's going to happen, don't watch the video. So we're going to be talking about Garou's newest form, I guess, which has come to be known as Job Hunter Garou. You can call him whatever you want, it doesn't matter. But the Garou that we pretty much see in chapter 133 taking on Suiryu, and a big topic of discussion has been like, how strong is he? Like, it's difficult to say. He's at really an ambiguous level of strength right now, especially since the last fight that we saw him in before this was against Saitama in his awakened form, and clearly he is not awakened Garou anymore. So it's like, since he's not that anymore, what is he now on the power scale? So I'm going to try to go over that in this video, but let me also point out that like a lot of people who are having these discussions and conversations don't seem to take into account that like this isn't the manga Garou. Like, you can't just say like, oh, he's this strong because of how Garou is in the manga and whatnot. I mean, they're almost drastically different stories at this point. I mean, other than touching on the big plot points. So that being said, we can't really say that like, oh, Job Hunter Garou is this strong because manga Garou is doing this or did this, and let me explain why that is. So webcomic Garou and manga Garou have two different fight records, like different opponents and different outcomes to certain fights, and some of you might not even be aware of this, but like Garou doesn't fight Metal Bat in the webcomic, he doesn't fight Orochi, he doesn't fight that team of demons right before he runs into Rover, he doesn't even fight Death Catling's like team. But first, this video is sponsored by the Listen But Don't podcast. Here's a clip, check it out.
Hey, this is Carol O'Neill, and let me tell you something real quick. When I, oh my God, what are we looking at? What's the product? What is the product? Oh, it's nicotine ice cream. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Hey, kids. Okay.
Stop playing that song!
It gives me a character.
It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. It's not the right music. It's the wrong music. You can't use that music for everything that happens.
So thank you again to the Listen But Don't podcast. All the links for their stuff will be in the description. Please check it out, guys. Thanks again. But let's just start from the beginning. So Garou does fight the team of A-class heroes at the underground meeting, takes them out pretty much the same, then goes on to fight Tank Top Vegetarian, takes him out, and then fights Tank Top Master, and that fight is more or less the same as well. So the fact that Garou can take out S-class level individuals has not changed. However, going past this is where things change, because like I said, he doesn't fight Metal Bat, and he doesn't fight Death Catling's entire team in that awesome sequence from like chapter 81. He just fights Death Catling individually. And then after that, he does fight Genos, but it's not like the EC Genos that we see him take on in the manga and the anime. This is still G4 Genos. So that's, further changing things with how powerful Garou is in the webcomic as opposed to the manga. And then after this, he does fight Bang and Bomb, and that kind of wraps up the same way. He gets dominated, of course, but then is ultimately saved by the Monster Association, and that's where things further begin to change. Because instead of taking on Royal Ripper and Bug God, he fights Senior Centipede, Royal Ripper, and Bug God. And in that fight, I guess cleanly defeated by Bug God and Royal Ripper, meaning that like there's not the Tario distraction that leads to his defeat in the manga. So that also kind of changes things. But it's also at this point in the story of the webcomic where Garou really starts to become a monster, I guess. I mean, before this, it's made apparent when he's going against EC Genos. That's when we see his eye change, when he breaks the tree off and everything. But it's way after the fact, after he's waking up from his near-death encounter with Bug God and Royal Ripper, where he gets the Zenkai, gets the regeneration, and becomes stronger. Because after that, it kind of stays on the same course. He, rematches Royal Ripper and just basically one-shots him, showing that, yeah, he has become significantly stronger. So much stronger, in fact, that he actually defeats Overgrown Rover in the webcomic. Like in the manga, he kind of gets dominated by him even after putting his best effort against him, but webcomic, the whole sit sequence, that puts Rover down, and even Psychos admits that he pretty much defeated Rover. So that also kind of makes things more difficult, I suppose, because it's like, is Rover weaker in the webcomic, or is Garou that much stronger post Zenkai? And after that, he's subdued by Psychos. Like, as we saw in the manga, he was able to resist Psychos' Esper abilities, but in the webcomic, he's kind of distracted by the notion of Tario being danger, and then he's put in the ground, which kind of replicates the sequence with Orochi putting him in the wall, I guess. But then after that sequence, he runs into Peri Peri Prisoner and then Darkshine, and I guess he's stronger after his encounter with Psychos to some degree, I suppose. The fight with Darkshine is pretty much the same as it is in the manga. You know, it goes back and forth until Garou ultimately dominates him, and it gets to the sequence where his limiter's about to break. And then after this sequence, he becomes like stupidly powerful. He like vaporizes Black S, like backhands Golden S, and fights him into becoming Awakened Garou and ultimately kills him. And that brings me to the point of where I'm like, where do we stop accounting for Garou's power carrying over into Job Hunter Garou? Because after he loses to Saitama, we see like the smoke come out of his face, and he's like, no, the Godslayer fist has left me. So I'm pretty sure that's implying that he is no longer Awakened Garou, or whatever supernatural monsterification, whatever abilities had given that much power, he no longer has it. So does that mean that all of the monsterness that he attained after he woke up from his near-death encounter with Royal Ripper and Bug God, is all of that gone? Has he still retained some of that Zenkai hypertrophy, I guess, if you will? I don't know. It's really difficult to say, because then we'll have to come to his fight with Suiryu, and that brings the question of like, how strong is Suiryu? And the verdict is still out on him, because his version in the webcomic is of course much different than his version in the manga. We don't really have much feats on Suiryu in the webcomic. We just have the exposition that he pretty much did win the Super Fight tournament, and that can only take you so far, I guess. But then also he was able to defend himself like at the same time against Mars, Leo, and Solitude, who are Neo leader candidates, which I guess means A-class level, I guess, which would also, you know, scale him back to what Garou was doing when he was first introduced. So it's like, is Suiryu demon level? Is he dragon level? I don't know. There's no real way to say for sure. But one thing is for sure, and it's that in Garou's fight with Suiryu, he's definitely not going all out. He's a changed Garou at this point. He's not like bloodthirsty or headhunting the way that he was. He's just pretty much defending himself and I guess his job at the same time. But also we'll have to go into the line that Suiryu says where he's like, unbelievable, you don't seem to have used even half of your full strength yet. And it's at that point that they already, you know, went tit for tat in their initial scuffle. So is that establishing that Garou is stronger than Suiryu at base level? Maybe, probably. Considering that Suiryu decides that he has to activate the suit to go further into this battle with Garou, I think that's pretty much saying that Garou is above Suiryu, at least at this point. And then he releases the limiter on his suit, and he, to a degree, overwhelms Garou. It's on the page. It's not like it's me wanting this to happen. You can see it for yourself. Then he knocks Garou down, but Garou gets up, and in typical Garou fashion, and he's going to keep going after him, and Suiryu is like super surprised by this. He's like, oh my god, you're still alive? So how strong is Suiryu after he releases the limiter on his suit? Is he dragon at that point? Probably, maybe, I don't know. But the fact that this only really roughs up Garou, damages him just a little bit, and you know, he springs back up ready to go for more, I think it's fair to say that Garou is at least, I guess, dragon level for sure at this point. You know, low, mid, high, I don't know. Too difficult to say at this point in time. But also, I just think it's fair to say that Garou has definitely increased in power just because of the story's progression. Like if Garou just regressed back to the level that he was when, you know, he was fighting Tank Top Master and Death Gatling and all of them, then it would kind of hinder his character's development because everybody else has progressed at this point. So he kind of needs to match them. You know, he needs to adjust to the meta of the current arc in the story so that he's not too far behind. So I think it's just fair to say that whatever he went through, you know, going to Awaken, post-Awaken, he retained something. Definitely experience, maybe some residual power came out of that, and he's just clear dragon level at this point. And like I said, I can't say what level of dragon he is because there's just not enough information at this point to at least give me a clear answer of that. But I think it's fair to say that he's at least dragon and definitely stronger than Suiryu. But let me know what you think about Job Hunter Garou in the comments. If you liked the video, guys, please give it a like. Please subscribe as well. Trying to reach 100K. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Also have a Patreon, a Twitch. Check those out, please. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.